Comrades and friends, welcome to Global Weekly News, serial number 52. Well, I am completing 1 year of delivery of Global Weekly News serials. So, for that, I am wearing the cap from Vietnam. Welcome, everybody. Comrades, I like to have your support to spread the message of whatever the important news I am giving throughout India. I sincerely thank all the comrades and friends who regularly see this program, Global Weekly News. Comrades and friends, let us go to the serial first. First, we are going to see Kerala's Chief Minister's Cuba visit. Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, the Chief Minister of Kerala's Left and Democratic Front government, recently visited Cuba. He met the President of Cuba and had discussions on India-Cuba relations, especially Cuba-Kerala relations. Chief Minister met the Sports Minister of Cuba also. Cuba promised to give sports training for Kerala's youth. At the initiative of Cuba, 60-year-old internal conflicts came to an end in Colombia through a peace accord. Cuba has been always sponsor of peace, but United States imperialism is accusing Cuba as a country sponsoring terrorism and has been imposed sanctions on Cuba for the past 60 years. The atrocious activity of US imperialism. It so much talks about civilization, democracy, etc., all hypocrisy of US imperialism. Comrades, we are going to see the elections in Ecuador. The opposition parties in South American country, Ecuador, brought an impeachment motion against the President Guillermo Lasso. He is charged of misusing public funds. Guillermo Lasso used a section of cross death of the Constitution of Colombia and dissolved the parliament. He announced elections will take place in August 2023. Elections for the president, vice president and 137 MPs will be held in August. Life of the parliament is up to May 2025, but it has been prematurely dissolved by the president. Now, as per the constitution, no inquiry can be conducted and no removal of Guillermo Lasso from power. 1.35 crore people will vote in the elections. Election results will be announced on 23rd September and swearing in will take place on 26th October. On 13th June, nominations have come to an end. There are 8 candidates for the post of the president. Citizens Revolution Movement, a left organization, has decided upon Luisa Gonzales as presidential candidate, a lawyer and former labor and tourism minister, and Andreas Arauz as vice presidential candidate, a former presidential candidate. Citizens Revolution Movement won the local body elections recently in February of this year. Most probably, the candidates by this left movement, Citizens Revolution Movement, will get victories in the ensuing elections, defeating the rightist President Guillermo Lasso. Next, we are going to see the Palestinian prisoners. Palestine. On 13th June, Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails protested against the lack of medical care and inhuman attitude of the Israeli authorities. Walid Daqqa, the Palestinian, is in jail for the past 38 years. Unbelievable, but it is true. For the past 38 years, Walid Daqqa, the Palestinian, is in Israeli jail. Now he is affected by cancer. The protesters demanded his release and proper medical treatment to all the prisoners. Walid Daqqa is in Israeli prison at Ramleh. 15 prisoners there in that jail including valid DACA, are under serious health conditions. Israel's authorities refused to release the Palestinian prisoners who were sick, even on humanitarian grounds, in spite of appeals by human rights groups and massive campaign in the world. 700 Palestinian prisoners are not well. On 18th June, Palestinian prisoners decided to go on hunger strike in a massive manner, and they went on a hunger strike. Under the name of administrative detention, many Palestinians are imprisoned without any charge sheet or inquiry for the prolonged period. Particularly those who oppose Israel's occupation policy and political activists are getting arrested. Gadar Adnan, a Palestinian prisoner who was on a hunger strike for nearly 3 months, died. He died during this hunger strike. In this background, Palestinian prisoners are protesting on 18th June. They have formed subcommittees to successfully face the oppression of jail authorities. Out of a total 5,000 Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails, 1,200, including 14 minors and 2 women, are on administrative detention. Comrades, you know, Warsaw was formed as a countermeasure to NATO at the time when Soviet Union was there, when East European socialist countries were there. After the setback in Soviet Union and the East European socialist countries, Warsaw was dissolved. But NATO is not yet dissolved. On the contrary, it has been continuously expanding under the leadership of United States. Annual summit of NATO of 31 member countries is going to take place in Vilnius of Lithuania on July 11 to 12. As part of the preparations of this summit, Secretary General of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, went to Washington, D.C., met Joe Biden, the President of the United States, and discussed regarding the agenda of the summit. Both of them discussed about the importance of Western aid to Ukraine and welcoming Sweden as a new member of NATO. On 13th June, both of them in their joint press conference did not speak on admitting Ukraine as a NATO member. As all of us know that the Ukraine war started because Ukraine wanted to join NATO, which was very much opposed by Russia. German Chancellor feels that during the Ukraine war, when the war is going on, that Ukraine shall not be admitted as a member of NATO. On May 2022, Finland and Sweden applied for NATO membership. Most recently, North Macedonia joined NATO as a new member. Both Norway and Denmark, the Scandinavian countries, are founder members of NATO, founded in 1949. On 4th April, Finland joined NATO as a new member. Finland has 1,400 kilometer border with Russia. After Finland joined NATO, NATO-Russian border has nearly doubled. But Sweden is not yet admitted as a member of NATO, though it applied for NATO membership in 2022 May. When NATO was established in 1949, they decided on a principle that all decisions, especially admitting new members, shall be unanimous. Hungary and Turkey supported the joining of Finland as a member, but they prevented Sweden from being admitted as a member of NATO. Turkey says that since the Kurdistan Labour Party, their men are in Sweden, it shall not be admitted. Sweden was the chairman of the European Council in 2009. Swedish Prime Minister assured Turkey at that time that Turkey will be admitted in the European Union, but the promise was not kept up. Turkey government is attacking Kurdish minority people. This has enraged the Kurdish people living in Sweden. They burnt the effigy of Erdogan, the Turkish Prime Minister. On 14th June, Erdogan declared that Sweden cannot join NATO as a member. In September 2022, European Union Parliament issued a statement that the political system in Hungary is a hybrid form of autocracy. Sweden welcomed this statement. Now Hungary says that unless Sweden changes its stand on the statement, it will not allow it to be admitted as a member of NATO. Comrades, now we are going to see a ship tragedy near the Greece coast. Greek tragedy. At least 79 people have died and hundreds are missing after an overcrowded boat carrying migrants to Europe capsized and sank off the Greek coast in the early hours of 14th June. According to unconfirmed reports, between 500 to 750 migrants were on the small fishing boat. So far, 104 persons were rescued. Most of the 104 survivors are from West Asia and North African countries such as Egypt, Syria and Palestine, with some coming from Pakistan and Afghanistan as well. The Alam Phone, an NGO working with migrant ships in the region, has issued a statement claiming that despite alerting the Greek and European authorities on time about the overcrowded ship heading towards Italy, the rescue operation was still delayed. The sinking of the migrant boat is feared to be one of the worst ever such incidents in the central Mediterranean region, already the world's most dangerous route for migrants according to the Missing Migrant Project of the International Organization for Migration. Over 21,000 migrants have reportedly died or gone missing in the central Mediterranean region since 2014, out of a total of nearly 27,000 in the entire Mediterranean region. After 2011, there has been a spike in migrants due to US interventions and aggressions in Libya, Syria, Iraq, etc. Now, due to Sudan's internal conflicts and Ukraine war, the number of refugees has increased. As per UN Commission on Refugees and Migrants, there are 11 crore migrants. European countries, even in giving asylum to the refugees, exhibit racism. They accept refugees from Ukraine, but very much hesitant to accept refugees from African and Asian countries since they are black people. Comrades, we are going to see elections in Mexico. Mexico, as all of us know, is just south of America. It's a Central American country. Elections will be held in Mexico in 2024. Presently, the president is Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. If you, initials, if you say, it is AMLO. AMLO is a progressive president of Mexico, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. AMLO won the elections in 2018 by his party having alliance with the Morena Party, the Green Party and the Workers' Party. The ruling class of the left, past corrupt, having nexus with the drug traffickers, was defeated in the election. The rightist forces were defeated and Lopez Obrador won the president's election in 2018. Now there are going to be elections in 2024. Lopez Obrador has 70% people approval rate. Therefore, AMLO's party will again win in 2024. Value of Mexico's currency, peso, has gone up. 17 peso is equal to $1. Energy sovereignty is safeguarded. Many key industries are nationalized. Mexico has very good relations with Cuba. So let us wait for the results of the elections which are going to be held in Mexico in 2024, which will be favorable to the left progressive forces. Lastly, we are going to South Africa. Comrades, Indian Foreign Minister said that India doesn't want to follow the NATO template. BRICS meeting, B for Brazil, R for Russia, I for India, C for China, and S for South Africa. So this BRICS countries meeting is going to be held in South Africa in August 2023. Russian President Vladimir Putin will also attend this meeting. There is an arrest warrant against Putin by the International Criminal Court. South Africa's Foreign Minister Naledi Pandor said that Putin will not be arrested by South African government. The opposition parties of South Africa are campaigning against Russia. In 2022, Joe Biden convened African-US Summit in Washington. A summit of the businessmen of these countries was also held. United States passed a law, African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, African Growth and Opportunity Act, and by that act, US is having trade relations with African countries with benefits to them. This act expires in 2025. US African leaders have annual consultation meetings, and this year this meeting is going to be held in South Africa. Many important United States senators had sent a letter to Antony Blinken, the Foreign Minister of United States. They expressed their anger towards South Africa for holding BRICS meeting and not ready to arrest Putin. They stated in the letter that trade benefits to South Africa as per the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act shall be stopped. Sanctions on South Africa shall be imposed, the senators expressed in their letter. Thank you all comrades for your cooperation. So I like to request all our friends and comrades to please share this among your group and friends. Thank you comrades. Lots of love. See you next week. I will come out with Global Weekly News 53 next week. Thank you.